Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
And welcome to the Weird Science Comics YouTube channel, where I'm going to go through The Flash number 756, and we'll find out if the proof is in the pudding. That isn't a very good catchphrase either. I'm still trying to come up with one. This is written by Joshua Williamson with art by Christian Duce. And I have not been a huge fan of Joshua Williamson's run on The Flash. There's been some nice moments. There are some characters that I've enjoyed, but overall, it's a mopey Barry that I don't enjoy. Barry rarely is the one who ends up winning the day for even himself in this book. You end up, even the last arc where we had the Paradox story, pretty much won by Reverse Flash. At multiple times, Iris has won the day. It never is really Barry. He's always one step behind. He's always the last to know things. And he's right there with the reader, actually, because Joshua Williamson will present a lot of things and explain half of them. Some of the things are just left there on the table. Some are even used over and over without really getting a full grasp of what exactly is going on. Some of the forces that he created, especially the Forever Force that was supposed to be this big thing. I don't know what went on with that. You end up having things where you have rules that are set. Going into the Paradox arc, we were told that you cannot overdo the speedster stuff because the Speed Force is having problems. There'd be ramifications. You could end up being in big trouble. And then Barry went off going through time, doing pretty much what I would consider way overdoing the Speed Force, but nothing happened because of it. It was never mentioned. And now in this issue, all of a sudden we mention it again. But the big thing about this issue is it's Reverse Flash going around time and snatching up characters for his Reverse Flash family. At the end of last issue, you ended up having a cliffhanger where Eobard said, hey, you're always hanging out with that Flash family. Well, I'm going to do what I usually do and make a reverse of everything you do. Reverse Flash family. So I'm going to do that. And he ends up doing that. He ends up going and recruiting characters, Grodd right here, and going through time and trying to convince them to join up. Now, the idea of this really does bother me a little just because of the timey-wimey stuff. And Joshua Williamson likes to play a lot, especially recently, with time travel and the ramifications of the timeline. But he ends up just doing things that would affect other books, other things, but didn't. So he just does it. His version of time travel is whatever I want to do, I'm going to do. And, you know, the hell with anything else with that.
I'll do what I want.
That's what he says. So he goes back and grabs Grodd. In the meantime, there is Barry. He's upset again. At the end of last arc, yeah, he's upset. August Hart, Godspeed, ended up getting killed by Reverse Flash. But at one point, at least he was hugging and smooching with Iris, having a little bit of a good time. Now he's just back to being a worrywart. He's upset. He blames himself. They end up going to August's grave, and you end up having Barry upset but won't explain it to Iris, and all these things, even little bits too, because we're going to get a lot of recap as well in this. We're starting a new arc. Joshua Williamson does like to recap a lot of stuff in every issue, especially at the beginning of an arc. And you do have him say like, I went back and I ended up resurrecting Eobard. I ended up getting, no, that's not really, you didn't bring Thawne back from the dead. You ended up going to a earlier version and grabbing him, hoping that he didn't realize that he had been killed later, which he did. He kind of seems to be out of time. And so what you're doing here is you're reminding people that Barry went and grabbed a Thawne that was before he was dead. And, you know, multiple times this guy has died. He has come back over and over. In this run, he's come back over and over. But yet the big thing, the big MO of Barry by the end of this issue, the thing that he is embarrassed enough to push Avery and Wallace aside is he's going to go kill Reverse Flash. But we've already pretty much spelled out that that won't affect anything. So hopefully we'll get some rules and something about why this time it would mean something. But really, this is a scavenger hunt from Reverse Flash going and gathering his Reverse Flash family. It is the usual suspects, but I do like them. I like the characters that we're going to get. Grodd, here we have Mirror Master and Captain Cold. You would assume the rest of the rogues would be involved. And you'll get some more in a minute, but we have Avery and Wallace back in the book. They were told to go away. Even at the point they were told that they just went away to go do things. Oh, Wallace, he went to do Teen Titan things. Avery, she went back to China supposedly to work with, new Superman. Maybe that's still going on. So you end up where they were gone. And they seem to be gone during the Paradox deal just so that they weren't there to be fodder. They weren't there for Paradox to go. So all of a sudden they're back now. And they're just back to be back. And then Barry goes to them and says, hey, you're back. You get out of town. I don't want you here. So they're back to be told to leave. But they're not going to leave just yet. But this is where I said the rules about the whole Speed Force and how it was a little wonky. Pied Piper looked into it. Hey, you can't overdo it. Again, I would really think that traveling through time is overdoing it. Fighting what became a god in Paradox, he was overdoing it. But again, now he can't overdo it. And so Wallace, hey, you better watch out there, Barry. And Avery's like, yeah, you know what Pied Piper said. We can't overdo it. All right. All right. There's the rules set again. But yeah, you get this whole recap. So if you don't know that Thawne ended up going and killing Barry's mom, all these things, that is pretty, big Reverse Flash stuff that most fans reading this book would know. You end up having Joshua Williamson have to explain this in his mind so that we realize, oh my, that's why he wants a Reverse Flash family, because he's a psychotic killer who goes through time and kills everybody who Barry loves. All right, I'm on board now. Let's go. And yeah, he though says, I want you out of here. We can't have you around, and we have to stop. I have to stop Thawne once and for all, because anytime he's out there, he could just pop up at any time. Next week, last week. I mean, this guy can do whatever. I need to take care of him. In the meantime, Thawne is going and getting more people. He goes to get Trickster, who's in Iron Heights. Again, this is 2 years ago. He goes back and says, hey, Trickster. And this would be near, into the whole deal when the Rogues showed up in this run. And hey, Trickster, what's going on? You want to come with me and fight Flash? No way. Reverse Flash, I have my own way. I'm going to get out of here on my own. Yeah, I saw that. It doesn't work out great. Come on, I'm just going to take you. Okay. And why does he need Trickster? Because he needs to break Turtle out, because Turtle is going to be part of it. And he's like, yeah, I need you to do this because his Still Force powers affect me too much to free him, but you can escape from everything, right, Trickster? Well, what happens when they're on the same team? It'll still affect them. And it affects Barry. And you never really get the rules of what's going on. It's just things there. And it's almost like Joshua Williamson gets something and needs to explain himself, but in weird ways. He explains the thing that we don't need explanation of oh my, why would Reverse Flash want Trickster? Well, he's just getting this Reverse Flash family. That's fine for me. But no. He's getting because he also wants Turtle, whose powers affect him. But then it's whatever. But you end up where by the end, Iris figures out why Barry's mopey, why he's doing all this. And poor Barry, it looks like he's got a migraine. He's like, really, Iris? I said I didn't want anybody around. And now you come and you're in my face. Just please stop it. But she loves him, I guess. So she's like, no. I figured it out. Wallace and Avery, they're down. We're going to get in with you. We're going to do this together. We're going to go. All right. And the idea of that, Iris is like, no, you don't understand, everyone. Barry doesn't want you around because he's not worried about losing. Because that's the whole deal, where Wallace even says, you think we're going to lose to that chump even though we keep losing to him? This time I'm mad. It's personal. We're going to beat that chump. And so she's like, no. He's not worried about losing. Look at that face that Barry has. He's ready to slice her. He's worried that you're going to see him kill Reverse Flash. And I wanted Wallace to be like, well, this time or what? All of them? And you killed him as well that I'm aware of? He even says early, yeah, it's Reverse Flash. Reverse Flash, I thought Iris killed him. So everybody's killed Reverse Flash. Seriously, everybody has killed him. But this time, you don't want anybody to see. Because this time it's for all the marbles, even though it's never for all the marbles. So again, it kind of gets goofy when you're supposed to care about something that has been set up in this run, in the last issue, that going through time, grabbing somebody, it's never going to stop them because of who they are and what they can do. But yeah, you end up with that, with the whole deal. Barry is pissed. So then you go off and Reverse Flash is going to finish his scavenger hunt in the far future. And if you've been reading this run, you probably will guess who it is that he's going after. I said it right away. Right when they got to this page, I'm like, okay, it's the Tornado Twins. And that's who it is, the evil version of Barry's kids. And going and saying, hey, you want to take down your pops? Well, a family that hates together stays together. All right. It's a nice ending. The art's great throughout the whole issue. I am excited to see what happens, but I'm more excited to see, can Joshua Williamson give me a story where he explains everything, that everything has ramifications, that all the rules are in play, and then we get something that's really cool. Most of the time, Joshua Williamson ends up tripping over himself during these arcs. He doesn't explain enough, but then explains too much of other things. There's too much recap. And by the end, it never feels like the story ever got as big as it should. And I'm saying right now, just Paradox. If you are reading this book, if you enjoyed the Paradox story from beginning to end, then you're different than me and probably will be gung-ho and like anything that Joshua Williamson gives you, because you must be a huge fan. But I need to see where, you had things even like the Flash War. And when that was done, you kind of push that aside for a bit. Then you have all the forces, and you kind of push those aside. At one point, Barry went on a force quest to understand these forces. And when he returned, he said, I don't think I'll ever learn that. We ended up with all of these issues where he just gave up at the end. And even then, what little we got was from Iris figuring it out. Remembering past lives, things like that. So it's never Barry. I need Barry to win the day for himself, to show why I love the Flash and love Barry Allen, that he's a good guy. He goes and protects people, but also he's pretty competent at being the Flash. And he just hasn't been. But all of that, I'm still going to go up from the score I gave on the website. I'm going to go up to a 6.5 because I do love the art. I think that I'm excited about the characters that will be going against Flash. I hope that it doesn't take too long to set up this whole Reverse Flash family and what they're doing and what they're going to, because we really don't know what a Reverse Flash family versus what that really, really means, what you want to have Thawne do, but we'll see. And I want to see then Barry kind of opening up and adding a lot of people on his side, and maybe even getting some classic Flash family characters would be awesome. So I'm looking forward to and hopeful for that. So a 6.5 out of 10. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Also, if you like the video, please subscribe to the channel, like the video all below. Look at the links below where you can find all sorts of things, links to our Weird Science family of podcast, websites, Patreon account, all of that stuff all rolled. Instagram. I mean, it just keeps coming. But yeah, please check that out. Thank you very much for watching and listening to me do this, and I will talk to you later.